Earlier this year, I did a video talking about how amazing the M1 iPad Pro is for gaming. And since then, we've seen the release of a redesigned iPad mini, and I think that this could now be my preferred choice. Obviously, the iPad Pro has superior specs, with a 120Hz ProMotion display for a fast and responsive gaming experience, along with the sheer power of the M1 processor from their desktop machines. But as we're all aware, iPadOS is not leveraging the sheer power and potential of this M1 processor anyways. So the performance from the A15 Bionic is more than appropriate for mobile gaming. As I've mentioned in many of my videos, I love the versatility of the iPad mini, and this translates to the gaming as well. With the iPad Pro, I felt it was more appropriate to use that tablet with a gaming controller. Because that iPad is much larger and heavier, sometimes its form factor just wasn't appropriate for handheld gaming like this, and you would have to overstretch your thumbs in order to control your character. And this is why my preferred method of choice was to use my iPad Pro more like a gaming console and connect my PlayStation 5 Bluetooth controller. Whereas with the iPad Mini 6, its form factor is perfect for handheld gaming, and it's very comfortable for extended hours of usage. I've played a range of different titles, and all of them have felt perfect. One of my favorites in particular is the F1 mobile racing game. I'm a huge fan of racing games and F1 in particular, and the iPad Mini is so suitable for this type of title. Because the iPad Mini is so nimble and agile, it made rotating the iPad very easy to control the car. Furthermore, exploring some of the Apple Arcade titles such as NBA 2K21, I found playing this game with the touch controls on the screen was much better than with a controller. When I tried to play this on the M1 iPad Pro, it simply wasn't feasible trying to play it handheld, so I had to attach an additional controller, but there were times where the controller was sort of freaking out within the menu system, and it was a bit of a glitchy experience. A few months ago when I traveled with the iPad Mini 6, it was a great all-round device. And because it can just simply fit into your coat pocket and you don't need to bring any additional peripherals and accessories to enhance your experience, it just is so convenient. If you do find yourself wanting to play with a controller and maybe use services such as Google Stadia and Xbox Game Cloud, I would highly recommend picking up the Apple Folio Case. This is a very thin and lightweight case made by Apple. It is a little bit pricey compared to Amazon options, but it simply magnetizes to the rear of your iPad, and it enables you to prop the iPad up onto a desk without worrying about your iPad falling over. I do think there are some trade-offs to selecting an iOS device as your gaming tablet, and this is the quality of games that are available. Although in recent years this area has improved greatly with the introduction of Apple Arcade, which continues to get better month on month, you're still quite restricted to the capabilities of the titles, and sometimes they're quite linear in what they can actually do. In addition, if you are interested in cloud gaming, services such as Google Stadia and Xbox Game Pass do not have any official iOS apps, and you have to go through various workarounds through Safari and then creating sort of shortcut apps in order to get the same experience that you would find on Android, but it's nowhere near as optimized. It is very difficult to fault the iPad Mini, and I think that it is one of the best tablets in the market, but it does have quite a high price tag, and if your intentions are only to play games on this, then maybe you should purchase something like a Switch. Because a Nintendo Switch is slightly cheaper, and for the most part has very similar functionality. You can watch videos through streaming services such as Netflix, Twitch, and YouTube, but you have the major advantages of access to AAA titles, so the quality of games are much higher. If you want to see my full review of the brand new Nintendo Switch OLED, I recommend that you watch this video next.